Praise the Lord, everyone. Welcome to our May 13th, 2025 City Council meeting. Please stand for invocation by Councilmember Reed, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance with Scout Troop 180.
Let's bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for tonight. We thank you for all the wonderful people in this room. Father, we just ask that you guide our words and our actions, and we just ask blessings over our amazing city. In your name we pray, amen. Amen.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank y'all. Item number 2. This is National Economic Development Week proclamation. Mr. Andrew Meeks.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So we're actually combining these. It's Economic Development Week, and it's also Travel and Tourism Week. And we do have Andrew Marks here who will be accepting. So I'll read the first one first. It's Economic Development Week, whereas economic development is a vital component of the City of Lynchburg's efforts to enhance the quality of life for its residents by fostering a vibrant economy, creating job opportunities, and promoting sustainable health or growth. And whereas in FY 2024, the City of Lynchburg's Office of Economic Development and Tourism facilitated over $80 million in business investment, including Framatome's $49.4 million expansion, which will create 515 new jobs, underscoring the city's status as a hub for advanced manufacturing and innovation. And whereas efforts were led to advance site readiness and future development, leveraging $450,000 in state grants for the Airport Commerce Park and Ivy Creek Innovation Park, while supporting entrepreneurship through Co-Starters, which has helped 127 participants complete the program and launch 47 new businesses across Lynchburg in partnership with the Small Business Development Center, proving that the city is a place where innovators can thrive. And whereas proactive outreach and marketing strategies, including nearly 300 strategic business visits, digital campaigns, and a redesign of commercial property database have contributed to a 547% increase in site traffic and a stronger pipeline for business attraction. Now therefore he, Larry Taylor, Mayor of the City of Lynchburg, does hereby proclaim May 11th through May 17th at 2025 as Economic Development Week in Lynchburg, and commend the Office of Economic Development and Tourism for its outstanding contributions to the city's economic vitality and community well-being. Travel and Tourism Week. Whereas the travel industry is essential to the success of every industry, generating $2.9 trillion in economic output in the United States, supporting over 15 million American jobs, and remaining a powerful engine for economic growth, job creation, and a community vitality nationwide. And whereas the City of Lynchburg's Office of Economic Development and Tourism, through strategic group sales and event recruitment, secured 100 tourism-related events in FY 2024, generating an estimated $19 million in local economic impact and contributing to $400.8 million in total visitor spending and 3,838 local tourism-supported jobs. And whereas Lynchburg has become a regional hub for sports tourism, having hosted 41 sporting events in FY 2024, including multiple collegiate tournaments and championships and the Professional Disc Golf World Championships, which alone brought 12,500 spectators and produced $4.5 million post-event economic impact. And whereas the office's destination marketing strategy has yielded strong digital engagement, including a 45% increase in social media reach, 368% growth in visitor guide page views, and over 225,000 website sessions directing users to local businesses and events listings on lynchburgvirginia.org. Now therefore he, Larry Taylor, Mayor of the City of Lynchburg, does hereby proclaim May 4th through May 10th, 2025, Travel and Tourism Week in Lynchburg, and commend the Office of Economic Development and Tourism for its continued innovation, promotion of Lynchburg as a premier travel destination, and significant contributions to our local economy and quality of life. Mr. Mayor, while you're standing there, I'll go ahead and read off the next one. So this is the Recovery Court Month Proclamation. I have Ms. Rhonda Turner and Ms. Bethany Harrison in attendance to accept. Recovery Court Month, whereas treatment courts are the most successful justice system intervention in our nation's history for reducing crime by addressing substance use and mental health disorders. And whereas treatment courts save taxpayers an average of $19,000 for every individual in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And whereas treatment courts provide a range of economic benefits to a community, such as reduced costs in court and prison expenditures, increased tax revenues, lowered foster care expenses, and decreased costs related to victimization. And whereas treatment courts combine accountability with evidence-based treatment, and whereas treatment courts annually refer more than 150,000 people to life-saving treatment and recovery support services, and whereas treatment courts significantly improve substance abuse, mental health disorder treatment outcomes, and prevent fatal overdoses, and whereas treatment courts facilitate community-wide partnerships bringing together public safety and public health, and whereas there are now more than 4,000 treatment courts nationwide, and whereas treatment courts demonstrate that when one person rises, we all rise. Now therefore he, Larry Taylor, Mayor of the City of Lynchburg, does hereby proclaim the month of May as Recovery Court Month in Lynchburg and asks all citizens to join him in supporting individuals on their journey to recovery.
Mayor Field, if you don't mind, there's one thing I meant to, go ahead, you can come up. Before I did the invocation, I meant to do this. If everybody would just join me in a moment of silence. We did lose a Lynchburg treasure last night. Dr. Owen Cardwell passed away. And I know most of you know more than I do, what a historic figure he was for our city. So if y'all would just join me in a moment of silence honoring Dr. Owen Cardwell. If you could stand up.
Stand.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, I would move that the agenda be amended and the following be added at the conclusion of the, I move that the agenda be amended and at the conclusion of the general business session, council takes a consideration of closed meeting to discuss the investment of public funds where completion of a bargaining is involved, where, if made initially, the financial interest of the governmental unit would be adversely impacted pursuant to sections 2.2-3711A6 of the Code of Virginia, 1950 as amended. The subject of the closed meeting being specific to the negotiations regarding Campbell County Utilities Services Authority water purchase contract, and consideration of a closed meeting to discuss the performance of the City Council's 3 full-time appointees, how such performance has been affected by the behavior of a council member, and how to resolve the same pursuant to section 2.2-3711A1 of the Code of Virginia 1950 as amended.
I second.
Second. Well, great. Yes.
Yes. Oh, yes. No, there's.
Ms. Timmer?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to make a substitute motion that we go into closed session for item 7, but not item 8, in line with my previous stance on closed session regarding fellow council members.
And I make a substitute motion.
You can't,
We have to
Mr.
vote
Mayor.
on that motion.
Can you make a substitute after?
Mr. Attorney?
So they're correct, so we have to address the first substitute motion that's been put on the table now before addressing the main motion, but there can only be one substitute motion at a time.
speak to my motion.
Speak to your motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've said this in a number of work sessions, and so it hasn't typically been in the council chambers as far as the council meeting, but I do not believe that it is the position or role of council members to police each other's actions. I think that we are directly voted in and accountable to the people, and elections speak for themselves, and subsequent elections speak for themselves. Additionally, in the way that the language is worded on this particular closed session item agenda, it comes in a backdoor, if you will, as far as, again, addressing council behavior rather than really dealing with the appointees and their role. And so I would like to read a statement that I've handed to the media in this regard, and I intend not to participate in this closed session if it does move forward, because I really do not believe that it is my place to participate in and to perpetuate the previous council's insistence on policing each other's behaviors. So let me pull that out.
No idea what that was. That was a breaker.
Got TV.
All right. That added some emphasis. We cannot allow offense at another council member's actions to determine policy. Each council member was elected directly by the people of Lynchburg, and as such, it is our duty to respect and work with each other, not work to control each other's speech and actions due to offense or discomfort at another's methods or motives. And I want to say that this is in no way condoning any particular council member's behavior. This is just me simply saying I refuse to participate in making this the discussion of Lynchburg, and we need to get back to a place where policy is paramount and foremost. The previous council's failure to follow these basic requirements of civil discourse is what has fueled the conflict in the past, and accordingly, I will not participate in this closed session. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Deemer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I concur and agree with the statement and have signed it as well. As I've said before, and we voted against it before, I'm not interested in going into the back room to beat each other over the head. We are responsible to you, the citizens. You are our bosses. If we're not doing our job, there is a perfectly good way that's been set up for you to deal with that, and that's through our elections. And I would trust the people to do that. I don't want to participate as well, and I have serious concerns about the actual reason, because we have very specific reasons that we can go into executive session and not let y'all see what we're doing, okay? And I don't think this meets any of the criteria listed in the Code of Virginia as far as what we are allowed to go into. So that's a little different aside, but maybe I'm wrong on that. But I will also not participate in the meeting if it takes place, because I saw the last 2 years, and I'm not interested in repeating that. Thank you.
Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And for me, comes down to a couple things. One is, on Thursday, you and I had a discussion about a closed session, and what the language is that's on the closed session is nowhere remotely close to what you discussed with me. And with that being said, I'm not, I'm just not, I don't like surprises. And, we work for the citizens. We don't work for each other up here, but we're supposed to work together. We don't work for staff. We're supposed to work with staff. But we work for the citizens, and that's who we're accountable to. And one of the things that I discussed with you, and I'm going to reserve my right under the rules of procedure that says we are allowed to discuss the performance and conduct of public officials. It's in there. One of the things that I discussed with you is the amount of obstructions during this whole budget process. Now, if we want to change the language, if there wants to be an amendment to the language to discuss that, I'm happy to go into closed session and discuss that, because there have been a number of obstructions from city staff during this budget process of information that's been requested. The press can feel free to FOIA records on the emails going back and forth about budget information. And it'll be very clear that there was definitely a lot of requests for budget information that were never provided. I just saw another one today pop up from April 14th. A request from April 14th for budget information that was never properly filled by one of the members sitting up here. And your tax dollars are one of the most sacred things that we have to protect up here and safeguard. And when we're getting obstructed about getting information about how tax dollars are being spent or proposed to be spent in the budget process, I have a problem with that. I have a real problem with that. And I will always dig in and get as much information as I can to make sure that we know we've got efficient use of those resources. There's a massive tax increase that's been proposed. I think we're going to be able to avoid it, right? But when those things come up, you want to look at spending. How is the city proposing to spend their money before you just do the easy thing and rubber stamp the tax increase, right? Because I believe there's a way to get everything that has been proposed that we need without a massive tax increase. Truly believe that. It can be done. So, with that being said, I'm opposed to the closed session. I'd be willing to amend the language to discuss the staff obstructions in the budget process, but that's where I'm at.
Thank you, Mr. Mission.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I believe in being transparent. I like all my colleagues. But when I get phone calls from staff telling me that they are intimidated, they are scared to approach certain council member, they ready to leave their jobs, they feel intimidated, and we do not be living in fear, whether you're on your job, whether you walk in the street, whether you sleep at night. And that's why I asked for this closed session, for discussion, Mr. Missions, for discussion on your behavior towards city staff. I've had complaints going way back. Your behavior towards city staff is unacceptable. They should enjoy coming to work. When I get calls saying, I don't feel like going to work today because I'm going to get an email at 11 o'clock. I'm scared to look at my cell phone because it's bombarded with emails from Marty Missions. And I'm going to tell you now, stop it.
Mr. Mayor.
Stop it.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I'm going to respond to that. You just made claims directly to my face in public,
Yes,
and I'm
I
going to
did.
respond to that.
Yes, I did.
Every year in June, we get this letter from Brown Edwards. Every year in June. This letter from Brown Edwards has questions on here about inquiries concerning fraud. As part of the planning process, we assess the risk of misstatements in the financial statements, whether from fraud or error. Your consideration of the following questions is valuable in our planning at our engagement. Are you aware of any fraud, suspected
Point of
fraud, or
order.
allegations of fraud?
Discussion needs to be limited to the purpose at hand.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, you did offer me an opportunity to respond to what you said,
And you did.
and I'm not done. I'm still talking.
So,
I would prefer to have an opportunity to respond to what you said that was probably actually out of order, right?
so Mayor, it sounds like the point of order that was raised is whether or not the comment is germane to what you had said, or what the subject of the motion is, and that is a substitute motion to only go into closed session on item number 7 from the work session. So certainly you can make that ruling if it's not germane, and then proceed on to give Councilman Mischins an opportunity to continue to address your comments or move on to the next member to speak.
Point of order. I think both the mayor's comments directed it and another councilman were out of order. And I also would say that just responding to them just continued that lack of decorum and order that we are hoping to have, that Ms. Timmer and I have spoken to. So I hope we will not conduct this in front of everybody, and we will stick to the motion at hand.
And that's why the closed session was called, to not discuss this in front of everybody. But being that
I thought I still had the floor, Mr. Mayor.
you do,
Yeah, Mr. Mayor,
I don't think you ruled on my point of order.
yeah, I don't think you ruled on your point of order either.
It sounds like the mayor did, that he was specifically saying that the opportunity was there to go into closed session, and that is why he tried to go into closed session versus having it in public. What the mayor and Councilman Mischins have said so far, I don't think necessarily violate the rules, except for the fact that, you know, Councilman Mischins' comments didn't appear germane, talking about the
Well,
audit.
you didn't let me finish. So, with that being said, we get a letter every year. It's got 10 questions on it about how your tax dollars are taken care of, right? So I sent out a survey because the people that know the answers to these questions aren't any of us. It's the people that actually do the work, the people that actually spend your tax dollars. Now, if city staff was offended or intimidated by that, I apologize for that. Not my intention. My intention is to get information. But let me be clear, Mr. Mayor, I don't work for city staff. I work for the citizens, right? And if we can't get information, because I've got actionable information that I'm going to be providing to the external auditors through the survey, there are things that they need to look into. And there's reasons that there's walls of separation, right? There's reasons that they don't get to know that it's going to go right to the external auditors. Because if there's an issue there, there's no ability for the tracks to be cleaned up. But the point is you have said that I have intimidated people. So it's interesting because last time I checked, asking questions aren't intimidating. Last time I checked, if there's a city code that says certain ones of our appointees shall do certain things, and then they're not doing those things, they're violating city code. That's just an objective thing, right? And when I ask a question, and I'm gonna try to be a little different, because one, this closed session item didn't have anybody's name on it, Mr. Mayor. That was you
that's right.
that brought this out publicly.
Yes. Yes, I did.
I am not going to name any of our staff members by name. I'm not going to do that. But when I ask legitimate questions, and then I get outraged because, oh, he's sending me emails at all hours of the night. You don't have to look at your phone at 11 o'clock at night. That's not, I don't need to be policed on when I send emails by somebody that gets paid close to $200,000 a year by the taxpayers. That's not how this is supposed to work. That's not what citizens elect us to do. I can send emails when I want to send emails. I send one email, and then it's all of a sudden, I'm getting emails at all hours of the night. No, you got an email at 11 o'clock. After you sent me an email at 8:30 or so, and there was an exchange. And when I got a chance to respond to it, I responded to it, right? I mean, and the obstruction with the requests for the budget information was just outrageous. And you know, I found out that we have a $500 million municipal budget. And we don't have any way,
Let's vote.
there's no automatic way to balance that whole thing. It's all manual.
Vote on the substitute motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll call for the voice vote. Not all folks had a chance to log in yet. So this is the substitute motion for just, I'll call item number 7, not 7 and 8. Councilmember Frialdi?
No.
Councilmember Mischins?
We're voting on the substitute motion, yes.
Councilmember Reed?
No.
Councilmember Timmer?
Yes, in consistency with my previous votes on this matter.
Councilmember Wilder?
No.
Vice Mayor Deemer?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
The motion passes 4-3.
I'm going to close. Oh. It's okay.
All right, now, I guess I'll call the vote on the main motion.
Second. Call for the question on the main motion
What's the main motion?
to go into executive session for both purposes.
No,
No,
it's for the one.
So
for
the
the one.
substitute motion now becomes the main motion. There
Right,
is
right,
no
sorry.
additional motion that is needed. So this would just be a motion on item number 7, not 7 and 8, since the
So
substitute
we go
passed.
into executive session.
I think we're good, Mr. Mayor.
Are we good to call the vote?
Yes.
Councilmember Feraldi?
No?
Councilmember Mischins?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
No.
Councilmember Timmer?
Yes.
Councilmember Wilder?
So the motion we're currently saying is that to take off 8.
Correct.
And just have 7.
Correct.
So no.
Okay. Vice Mayor Deemer?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
No.
Okay. The motion fails.
Mr. Mayor, let's move on with our meeting, but.
Yes.
A personal privilege, just for 10 seconds.
Yes.
I can't tell you how to vote every time. And with
No.
respect, this is why Mischins, Timmer, and Deemer wanted to make you mayor, is to confuse you.
Point of order.
Wow.
That's not
Wow.
humane.
That's-
And
that
it's
is
invective against the
so
fellow
uncalled for.
councilman. It's
Okay.
disruptive.
Okay.
It's wrong on so
Okay.
many levels.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, Mr. Mayor. Yep. Tonight's city council agenda is divided into 4 sections. Consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I've got a quick question, real quick, just about
No,
the
we're gonna
first
continue the
closed
meeting.
session item for staff. If there's a timeline on the first closed session item, I have a quick question for staff.
No. I don't want you talking, staff.
All right, so 4 sections: consent agenda, public hearing, public comment, and general business. The first section is consent agenda. It includes routine items that can be approved with 1 vote.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Cast your votes, please.
Councilmember Feraldi?
Yes?
Councilmember Mischins?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Councilmember Timmer?
Yes.
Councilmember Wilder?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Deemer?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
The motion passes 7-0.
Second section, public hearing.
Yes, thank you. The next section is public hearings. These are required by law or directed by council. The procedure for these are staff will give a presentation. The public can give comments. Individuals have 3 minutes to speak. If speaking for a group, you have 5 minutes. Group speakers must say which group they represent. Each group gets 1 spokesperson. Each speaker must say their name and locality of residence. After public comments, the public hearing will close and the matter will rest with council. Item number 7 is consideration of adopting a resolution approving the Community Development Advisory Committee project recommendations for FY 2026 CDBG and Home Program Entitlement Funds to be included in the 2025 Annual Action Plan.
Ms. Melva Walker, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor Taylor, Vice Mayor Deemer, and members of City Council. Tonight, City Council is conducting a public hearing on the fiscal year 2026 Community Development Block Grant and Home Program funding recommendations of the Community Development Advisory Committee, CDAC. CDAC conducted a public meeting on April 3rd and reviewed the submitted CDBG and Home Program applications and formulated recommendations for consideration by City Council. These recommendations and project summaries have been provided to you. Council member Dr. Wilder and Ms. Timmer are the council-appointed members of CDAC and participated in the recommendations. At the conclusion of the public hearing, Council member Dr. Wilder, as chairman of CDAC, will present these recommendations to you for approval. A public notice for this meeting was published in the News in Advance and through social media. City staff has not received any written public comments prior to the public meeting.
Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Anyone here to speak in opposition? Ms. Alicia, are there any voicemails?
There are none.
Public hearing is now closed. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yes. Again, I want to thank the staff for preparing this presentation, as well as the CDAC members. I don't know if any of them are here. Could they stand up, please? The CDAC members, please stand. And I see two of them are here. Again, we want to thank them for serving on the committee. It's wonderful to have input from our citizens on these projects. And the CDBG funds and the goals that are outlined here really touches the underserved population, from housing to homelessness to rental assistance to down payment assistance and various other programs that are in our budget from the CDBG funds, Community Development Block Grant funds. So we're thankful for all those funds, all of our community partners. Some of our community partners are here, all of our community partners that work so hard in making our community a better place, especially with those that are less fortunate, and also having a course where we improve their lifestyle. For example, not just give them a handout, but get them in programs like job training programs and give them financial counseling and other things, other programs that they give them access to. So we're thankful for all of our partners working together, and we are so much better when we work together. Thank you. And Councilman Timmer is also coming, but I know she's.
Ms. Timmer?
I don't know if Stephanie wants, or sorry, Ms. Reed wants to speak for a
my
second.
Yes. Thank you, and I agree with what Dr. Wilder said. I was on CDAC last year, and I just agree with all that, we do over there and what we support. And, again, what Dr. Wilder said is supporting programs that assist people to be able to improve their lives. It's life skills and it's training and assistance for people to make a better life for themselves and equipping themselves to be able to be productive citizens and believe themselves and move up in our city. And I just think that's a wonderful thing. So I thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you. Ms. Timmer?
I just want to thank council for the opportunity to serve on the committee. It's a real privilege and honor, and it's a privilege and honor serving along the side of a number of people. I won't say your names, but I see you, and I'm grateful for you. And of course, Ms. Walker, thank you to you and your team for all the work that you've done putting this together. So thank you, Dr. Wilder, and I greatly appreciate it. It's a wonderful committee.
Anyone else? Cast your votes, please.
Councilmember Feraldi?
Yes.
Councilor Missions?
Yes.
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Councilmember Timmer?
Yes.
Councilmember Wilder?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Deemer?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
The motion passes. Item number 8, consideration of adopting an ordinance granting a non-exclusive limited franchise to Rosedale Investments LLC and Rosedale Owners Association, Inc. for use, maintenance, and work on certain encroachments in the public rights-of-way at 1600 Grays Mill Road. I believe Mr. Newland is here to make a presentation of the request.
Yes. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, this is to provide for a culvert. It's a franchise to ensure the correct maintenance and properly inspected of a culvert at Rosedale Investments. It's at 1600 Grays Mill Road.
Thank you, Mr. Newell. Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Anyone to speak in opposition? Are there any emails? There are none. Voicemails. I'm sorry. Public hearing is now closed. May I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Mr. Mission?
Just to kind of make sure we're on the Rosedale one, right?
Rosedale.
Yeah, so people understand what's going on with this is there's a creek that was buried right at the entrance to Rosedale. And there's a issue with the half bottomless culvert that's over top of that. There's concerns about that because of specs on our side, but they built it to their side. And basically what we're doing is we're just releasing the liability to them, and they're gonna own it, and there's gonna be some agreement with the EPA and DEQ. I think from what I understood and reading, there's gonna be a consent decree, if that, does that sound right, Mr. Friedman?
Yes, sir.
And just, this releases the city from liability, and they're responsible for that. So if there's issues with it, they gotta fix it.
Anyone else? Please cast your votes.
Councilmember Feraldi?
Yes.
Councilor Missions?
Yes?
Councilmember Reed?
Yes.
Councilmember Timmer?
Yes.
Councilmember Wilder?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Deemer?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
The motion passes 7-0. Agenda item number 9, consideration of adopting an ordinance amending section 36-270 of the city code for purposes of changing an exception to the city's amusement tax. Mr. Greg Patrick is here to provide a summary of the request.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. I'm happy to be here today. This is the first of 2 public hearings and 3 votes that are before you tonight to adopt a new franchise agreement between the city and the Lynchburg Hillcats baseball team to continue a tradition of baseball in Lynchburg for another 15 years. Really excited to be here. First and foremost, the item before you currently is a public hearing to change a local amusement tax exemption. Currently, the Lynchburg Hillcats pay no amusement tax on ticket sales based on an exception that exists in the local code. This vote, this public hearing, would change that that exception, and this amusement tax that is proposed would significantly help fund a proposed investment in the Bank of the James Stadium as part of the new franchise. So currently, the current language reads, no tax shall be payable under this division for admission to the following amusements or entertainments. And the relevant language is athletic events that are held at a municipal facility or any amusement or entertainment that is sponsored by the city. The relevant part of that language is held at a municipal facility, since the Hillcats play baseball at a city-owned ballpark. The proposed exception would read, no tax shall be payable under this division for admission to the following amusements or entertainments. Youth athletic events that are held at a municipal facility or any amusement or entertainment that is sponsored by the city. We have gone on to define youth athletic events just in case someone younger than 18 might make the Hillcats team. So youth athletic events shall mean athletic events involving players under 18 years of age. This additional admissions tax, here's the critical part, it will only be paid by those who attend Hillcats games. So essentially, the investments that we'll ultimately make in the ballpark will be partially funded by the folks who use the ballpark and attend Hillcats games. And again, this is the first of 3 votes. There's another public hearing that follows this on the franchise agreement itself.
Yes. Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Is there anyone to speak in opposition?
Mr. Mayor, we have
Not in opposition, but it sounds good.
Was waiting to introduce you on the franchise agreement.
Right, thank you.
Let's see. Okay. Is there any voicemail?
There are none.
Public hearing is now closed. May I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion?
Mayor, I did want to make one, just a note for city council. Some of the language had been changed in the ordinance. It was advertised this way, but it just says involving a majority of players who are under the age of 18. And that was a suggestion by Councilman Mischins, just to make sure we were more specific in how we did that.
Anyone else will speak to this? No? May I have a vote? Mr. Farabi.
How about we make sure there is a tax only when the Salem Red Sox come to town? Kidding.
May we have a vote, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we're all logged in, so I'm gonna, if you want to take a moment, wake up your iPads, I'm going to initiate the vote.
Oh, shoot.
Thank you. The motion passes 7-0. Item number 10 is consideration of adopting an ordinance granting a Hillcats Baseball LLC an exclusive franchise right to the use of the City of Lynchburg's Bank of the James Stadium for its baseball games, events, and related issues. Again, Mr. Patrick is here to provide a presentation.
Good evening again, Mayor, members of council. The Hillcats franchise agreement, again, this is the franchise agreement that will see baseball remain in Lynchburg for another 15 years, continuing on a 120-plus year tradition here in the city. We have with us today the new owner of the Lynchburg Hillcats, Dylan Narang. Dylan, would you stand up once again and wave at council? If you have any questions for Dylan, I'm sure he'd be happy to answer them. So city staff has negotiated a new 15-year franchise agreement with the Lynchburg Hillcats baseball team. 6 to 9 months ago, we got new ownership for the Hillcats, and we are really excited about having Dylan and his team in Lynchburg. They have big plans, and they are going to continue and grow the tradition of baseball here in Lynchburg. Staff strongly recommends the City Council approve the proposed franchise agreement. There are, as we talked about, there are 3 actions that are required by Council along with this franchise. The first is the approval of the franchise, which will come after this public hearing. The second, Council voted on just a moment ago, so that's taken care of, which is the removal of an existing amusement tax exception. And the third is an amendment to the fiscal year 2025 through 29 capital improvement plan to add a new project to improve fan amenities at the new city-owned baseball stadium, which will come as part of general business later this evening. Prior actions, we'll go back to 1886. Lynchburg's first professional baseball team, very creatively named the Lynchburgs, began playing baseball. In 1940, City Stadium, now the Bank of the James Stadium, was constructed. What's interesting is that makes Bank of the James Stadium one of the oldest active ballparks in minor league baseball with 85 years of continuous operation. And I think that's a fact that Dylan and his team plan to leverage as they market the Hillcats baseball team. In February 2016, City Council granted a 10-year franchise to the Lynchburg Baseball Corp. To allow the Lynchburg Hillcats team to continue to play its games at Bank of the James Stadium. In the fall of 2024, Hillcats Baseball LLC, led by Mr. Dylan Narang, purchased the Hillcats baseball team. In October 2024, City Council adopted a resolution consenting to the sale and allowing the assignment of the existing franchise to the new ownership group. That current franchise expires at the end of this current baseball season. City staff has now negotiated a new franchise with the Hillcats that'll keep baseball here another 15 years. The new franchise will replace the final year of the current agreement, so it will actually be retroactive to the beginning of this baseball team. It will be a 15-year term through the 2029 baseball season. The city will collect, as part of the franchise, annual rent, parking rights, naming rights, and other local taxes, sales, meals, and amusement as part of the operations, as a result of the operations. The revenue that we generate, the city generates as part of the Hillcats being in town will support a $5.25 million upfront investment in improvements for the stadium. I can say that design process is well underway, and I think some of the design elements that Dylan and his team have envisioned are really, really cool. It continues an annual maintenance reserve to ensure completion of basic maintenance needs and ongoing compliance with Major League Baseball stadium requirements. One thing that I found in coming to Norfolk is Major League Baseball is very particular about how the way minor league baseball stadiums are constructed, and they change those rules frequently, so we've got to keep up with those changes. It also has an early termination penalties. If the Hillcats were to leave before the end of the franchise, there would be a $100,000 cash payment for each year remaining on the agreement, and a repayment of any unamortized amount of the capital improvements. Some of the financial details here. We've run revenue projections for having the Hillcats in town. As you can see, we're collecting rent, naming rights, parking fee, sales and meals tax, and amusement tax. We've given you a baseline, a pessimistic and an optimistic scenario in terms of revenue. What we can tell you is that based on our baseline projections, the revenue over 15 years is enough to pay for the upfront investment and the interest payments over the 20-year period that we will repay that debt. And that is it. Council, the franchise agreement is before you now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone here to speak in favor? Good. Anyone to speak in opposition? Ms. Alicia, are there any voicemails?
I believe we might have a speaker in opposition.
Oh, yes, sir.
Saw this agenda item on, later after public comment about $5.25 million being,
Sir, please restate your name.
oh, Peter Safarati, Ward 1. Hello, everybody. So $5.25 million spent for a fan experience at the ballpark. You know, don't you think you just should like explain to people what this is and what the money's actually going for before you like throw it on an agenda, vote for it? I mean, it doesn't sound to me like something that's really critical for the city and with the financial situation we're in and all the really critical issues we have to, looking for, to pay for going forward. Am I to understand that the $5.25 million is going to be paid off over 15 years? Is that what that is? You don't know? Can't he answer? Well, okay, well, maybe one of you could ask. Maybe it's about time that the citizens in this city who have questions about where their tax money is going get the answers to the question. Is that too much to ask? Councilwoman Reed, paying attention? I'd like to say that this is like being run roughshod over by, this is taxation without representation. I'm not a damn mushroom, and neither are the people that voted for the majority on this city council. We're asking a lot of questions about what's going on, how the city is spending our money. We know we're in a bad situation, and we really we have to have a tight budget. So why don't you have somebody explain to us what the $5.25 million is going for? Is it going to get paid back? Is it not? I mean, if it's like the projections on that amphitheater, which are all guesswork, there was no, I asked the questions of staff, there was no economic impact or projection done on what the payoff is, how much money it's going to bring in. You guys are arguing about yelling at each other or this closed work sessions because somebody's got a bug up their butt. You know, you guys are acting like a bunch of fifth graders. So why don't you get down to the business of this city that you were elected to take care of and get your personal feelings and everything out of the way. Now, right now, I'm feeling like I'm being attacked. I'm in fear. You've heard people testify a couple weeks ago at this meeting that they're in fear of losing their homes because of taxes. Now, why aren't you people facing closed door meetings with other people to come down on you, to discipline you for that? There's a lot of people that are in fear of what's going on in the city. So if we're gonna, that should work both ways. That should work all ways. You can't just pick on him because somebody's got a bug about it.
Thank you.
This needs to be consistent.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Is there anybody else want to speak in opposition? Are there any voicemails?
There are none.
Public hearing is now closed. May I have a motion? Oh, Mr. Faradi?
For clarity, this item is not spending the dollars. That would be later in our agenda. This is just the franchise agreement. Is that right?
Come up, Greg.
But if you can, I hate how we make them get up. They have a mic right there. It doesn't matter to me.
Yes, this is the franchise, but
That's all I needed.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's why I said you didn't have. With that in mind, so moved.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Seeing as this is just the franchise agreement, not the dollars, I have nothing further to add as to what was just shared.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. Again, I'm thankful for the new ownership of the team. Again, it goes to the quality of life. When you come to a city, whether it's an amphitheater, whether it's a park, or whether it's parking trails or walking trails, you want to have certain amenities in a community. We have 20, 30,000 students at Liberty University and Lynchburg, University of Lynchburg, and all the other colleges, Randolph College. When those kids want to stay in a community, they want to go to a community that has something going, that has something thriving. Our population has gone from 60,000 to over 80,000 people in the past 20 years. Our city has seen amazing growth. It's because of the growth in our city, because of the investments that we have made. So again, you want to come to a city that's grateful and thankful that you have a great park to go to. You can go to a baseball game, take your family, and have that wonderful family experience. So I'm thankful for the new team coming. I'm thankful for our city staff and to work with them to orchestrate this. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Mr. Deemer?
Yeah, I just want to clarify that this is a user fee by those who actually attend games that will directly go back into investing into the infrastructure. This, in my mind, is a model of good private-public partnerships, which I think we should have more of, not less of. There's so many great examples of that, the Liberty Fire Station, the new Children's Park downtown. That's a great thing to do, and we should do more. And I love baseball, and I've been a fan of Lynchburg baseball most of my life, and look forward to continuing to do that and pay for my ticket.
Mr. Mitchell? Ms. Reed?
I'm excited about the changes. And just want to let everybody know, when we have devices in front of us and things that we're looking at, all of my council members tend to look down every so often and look at their phones and at their iPads. For some reason, I continuously get called out on not looking up when people talk. I'm not sure exactly why it's just me, when I've seen plenty of my colleagues not looking up at speakers, but I get singled out. It's interesting. I am reading about a lot of the things we're discussing because all the things that are being discussed are on these iPads and also on some of our phones. So just so all the our wonderful citizens understand, we're reading things sometimes when you're talking. We're multitasking. It's a great tool sometimes as we're listening, just for the record. Thanks. Thank you, Mayor.
Anyone else? Please cast your votes, please.
All right, initiating the vote now. The motion passes 7-0. Item number 11, consideration of adopting an ordinance authorizing a water and sewer contract between the City of Lynchburg and Certain Teed LLC that, among other terms, will set fixed rates for water and wastewater services. Mr. Tim Mitchell will provide a summary of the request.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. The purpose of this item is to authorize the city manager to enter into a long-term 5-year contract with Certain Teed. Certain Teed's our largest water and sewer customer in the city, so their revenues help stabilize the rates across the board. Also, their wastewater helps in the treatment process at the wastewater treatment plant. Just a little bit about the contract information. This is historically, this industry that's been in this location has had a water and sewer contract. Certain Teed is a new user, a new entity in that building doing the same type of work that was done before. So similar processes and similar functions. The contract rates are based on a cost of service study that's done looking at exactly what it costs to provide services to that contract, to that customer. So it excludes some of the, for example, Certain Teed pumps sewage directly to the wastewater plant, so we take out the collection system expenses in their contract rates. The contract would be retroactive to January of this year and run through 2029, so it's a 5-year contract. The water rate would be $1.79 per HCF. Sewer rate would be $2.64 per HCF. Their excess biological oxygen demand would be $38.82. And their suspended solids would be $35.29 per 100 pounds. And those rates increase over the contract period, but it stabilizes the rates for them so they know what their contract rates are going to be for the next 5 years. be glad to answer any questions after the public hearing.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of this project? Anyone who would like to speak in opposition? Are there any voicemails?
There are none.
Public hearing is now closed. May I have a motion, please? Oh, sorry about that.
Question. I guess you have to come up because there is no mic back there. There is. Okay, so I don't recall doing this myself before. When was the last time we adopted? Was it about 5 years ago?
So the contracts that were done before had automatic renewals in them, so basically it did not require any council action. These contracts go back decades, actually. So there's only 2 existing contracts. One is Frito-Lay and one is Certainty. This is a new contract because it's a new entity, so it did not carry over to the new
Gotcha.
customer.
Was this a bib for the meeting I was not here?
It was bibbed,
Probably.
I think in March, I believe. It was also in closed session as well.
Well, then I'll play dumb. Okay, second question.
Yes.
What's the water rate? What's the HCF?
HCF is.
What's the rate on a single-family home?
It's considerably more. I don't have the rate right in front of me right now, but we can certainly provide that information.
I should have reached out ahead of time, because where I'm coming from is if they get a subsidized rate for the amount they use, and therefore it equals a certain ratio, I would have liked that ratio to probably even out a little bit more between the average user and the company. I don't like the idea, for example, here's where I'm coming from. If they had to close down shop and leave, they're not pumping water anymore, and that ratio you're talking about is now a problem because they're not subsidizing the rate for the single-family home. Am I making sense? Because you said Certainty offsets the rate for us, right?
So it helps stabilize. It's a consistent amount of revenue coming into the water fund and
Right.
sewer
What happens
fund.
if they go? If they
So we have calculated we would have to increase rates to the average citizen by roughly 10%.
And there's
to offset the loss.
And there's no contingency in this document for that situation?
So the contract does have provisions, a termination clause, so they would have to notify us 2 years in advance of terminating the contract. We would also have to notify them. But, you know, if they were to close shop, there's no recourse that we would have in that situation.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. If there's no more discussion, cast your vote, please.
Looking for a motion.
No. May I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Yeah, and I'll second.
Second, okay. Cash.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
And I'm sorry to interrupt. This is something I just had noticed. It's just a procedural thing that needs to be fixed. As part of the ordinance, could you all also, or excuse me, as part of the motion, could you include authority for the clerk to add a title that says, an ordinance approving a water and sewer contract dated May 13, 2025 between the City of Lynchburg and Certainty LLC? That's a procedural requirement that it's an oversight of mine.
Yes.
I'll make that a part of my motion.
Yeah, and I'll second that.
No other comments on my part, thank you.
Ms. Timmer?
I just appreciate the tour and the diligence of really the rates that y'all put together. You've been very diligent in that and the schedules and walking me through that. Thank you.
Mr. Dean?
Mr. Mitchell, I appreciate the presentation as well. I look forward to my tour at some point. Hopefully, I'll be able to do that. It's been my fault so far I haven't, but you're right on top of the list. My little aside comment is I wish we could stabilize the rates on everybody's taxes and waters for 5 years through a contract, because I think the families of Lynchburg deserve stabilization just as much as Certainty gets stabilization, but that's just my dream world, sorry.
Anyone else? If there's no more discussion, please cast your vote.
All right, initiating the vote now. The motion passes 6-1. All right, item number 12, consideration of introducing an ordinance approving the FY 2025 third quarter adjustments. Ms. Donna Witt will provide a summary of the request.
Get there from here. Yes, these items are included in the third quarter adjustments. They include the appropriation of additional dedicated revenue in the general fund, appropriate additional projected non-dedicated revenue utilized for additional funding needs in the general fund, true up grant funds, and appropriate additional revenues and rescind grants in other funds. After the public hearing, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Is there anyone here to speak in favor? Anyone to speak in opposition? Ms. Alicia, are there any voicemails from citizens?
There are none.
The public hearing is now closed. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Did it go to finance?
So moved.
Did it go to finance?
Oh, maybe not.
Did not.
No, it didn't. It didn't. Okay.
I mean, I read.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
You want to speak to your
Yeah,
second?
I seconded.
Yeah, so, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I read through this. Thanks for putting this together. There's really no questions that I have. Appreciate the work you guys put into it.
No comment? Is there anyone else? No more discussion? Please cast your votes.
Initiating the vote now. The motion passes 7-0. Was it, oh, I'm so sorry. Was your,
I voted no.
okay. So then the motion is not 7-0, it'd be 6-1. Thank you for clarifying. Okay, agenda item number 13, conduct a public hearing to receive citizen input regarding appointments or reappointments to vacancies that will exist June 30th, 2025 in School Board Districts 1, 2, and 3.
Ms. Finney, will please walk us through this item?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Due to a recent announcement of an upcoming vacancy, we'll actually have 4 appointments that you'll be considering for this cycle. That's 1 in District 1, 2 in District 2, and 1 in District 3. State code dictates that names must be read into the record in order to be eligible for appointment. So I'll read those now. In District 1, I have Dr. Karen Warren, Patrick Earl, Selena Morgan, Taryn Johnson, Dr. Laura Morrison Hussein, Dr. Tony Rouse, Marcus Bush, Nigel Aline, Lisa Gianto, Deborah Trefsker. District 2 of Diane Silliman, Earl Kennedy, Paula Mills, Rodney Hubbard, Jabri Poe, Jack Collins, April Watson, Karen Storer, Ronald Storer, Todd Williams, Dr. Harvey Clam, and Mike Barron. In District 3, I have Tori Howard, Tiana Wilson, Dr. Brenda Farmer, Corey Thomas, Lori Preston, and Jackie Randolph. Thanks to Ms. Fuentes for diligently keeping that up to date for us. Just to go a little housekeeping, the floor will first be open for candidates wishing to speak. Please state your name and your school district. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. After all candidates attending and who would like to speak have an opportunity, the mayor will then open the floor for any community member at large who would like to speak. Please state your name and locality of residence. For that, I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, the floor is now open for school board's candidates. You have,
First come, first served, so if you'd like to start making your way to the podium. We could go by district. Yeah, I have a recommendation to go by district. Does that work for council? Okay. So sorry, everybody. So District 1 members, if you'd like to come first. We're looking for District 1. No, it's fine. Sorry, Mr. Mills. Thank you.
Mayor Taylor, Vice Mayor, members of council, thank you so much for your time tonight. My name is Patrick Earl. I'm an LCS parent and educator out of Ward 1 in Lynchburg City School District 1. I wanted to speak briefly tonight on my interest in serving on the LCS board. If you choose to give me a formal interview later on, I can speak more specifically, but tonight I just wanted to make my intentions clear and share some beliefs I have about education. First off, I believe I can make a significant difference at LCS, for the LCS community. For the better part of 20 years, I have been in education, and for over a decade, it's been at the college level. Because of this, I know what it takes to prepare a student for life after education. I've seen firsthand that each student needs an individualized attention. They need an environment that makes them feel safe. And it is this inclusive and nurturing environment, both in the classroom and at home, that allows them to succeed. And what makes these successful situations happen is investment. And I don't mean just financially. Throwing money at a problem doesn't necessarily solve it. The investment I'm referring to is making a meaningful promise as a community to make our children's schools better. To take the time to ensure that everyone in the system feels supported, put politics aside, and have an earnest conversation about the importance of communication between administrators, families, teachers, and the school board. A civilized conversation about what programs and opportunities we want to keep providing and the supportive environment needed for learning. And this is how you build trust. And above that, this is how you build stability. And it's something I believe that has been lacking across the board. Parents, LCS, administrators, teachers, city council, we require a sense of communal support for the system that is currently with us. And if we have that, we can make hard choices together. The choices like closing schools, where to bus our children, how we can put funding where it is needed most. It's trust. It's hard to build, and it's easily lost. And no one can lead, teach, learn their best if we're always worried about what is happening next, if we don't feel supported. And I think my experience in education, nonprofit, and community leadership gives me a chance to really help the families of LCS. And I will end with this. I do believe that almost nothing makes a city more marketable, more successful, and primed for economic growth than a strong and supported public school system. I'd be honored to help you make that happen. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. Nigel Allen, Ward 1, and we are trying to ask for your appointment to the Lynchburg City School Board. Been in Lynchburg for a long time. I just counted the time this afternoon, 43 years I spent in the city of Lynchburg. And I've served as a pastor in this city for 17 years, totaling about close to 40 years as a pastor. And we have worked profusely and intentionally with children over the years. I also been a adjunct professor at VUL for about 13 years and served there for a number of years working with elderly people, but all during the years of my service there, I was connected with kids, ran a summer program for 13 weeks every summer for 13 years. And we worked that program with a well-committed staff, people in the community that were volunteering, and they served us over these years. And then we transitioned from the camp during the summer and worked with Lynchburg City Schools in collaboration with Liberty University, and we ran an after-school program for about 12 years downtown right here in the city of Lynchburg. And we left that after COVID came in. We were had to push back on that a little bit. And then we pick up our summer camp that we've been running for about 50 kids every summer right here in the city of Lynchburg. And that being said, my kids as well were partial products of the Lynchburg City Schools. We sent them to private school at one stage, and then we transitioned them into Lynchburg City Schools. And I'm very proud today that my kids have done extremely well. They are professionals right now, and they have served the city, and they have been very much a blessing to us because of what Lynchburg City Schools were able to contribute to their lives. I would say my desire for this city school is that as I am growing older, some of you may not be growing older, but I am. And I feel like there's a need to invest in our children. I feel that is, as a country, even as we look at the international market in terms of countries in the industrial world, and we see and we know that the stats are not lying. Our kids are lagging behind in math and reading and science and in other areas. And I feel that we have an opportunity here in Lynchburg to hone in on our children and try to make a difference. There are three things I would like to be able to see in our schools.
Thank you, sir.
I'll keep those for later, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, thank you, everyone, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and the City Council. My name is Dr. Liza Giganto, and I'm from District 1. I'm currently a parent of Lynchburg City School students. I have a kindergartner and a second grader at Bedford Hills and a third grader at R.S. Payne in the Go Center. And it's their experiences in the school which brought me here tonight. I have a background in education, specifically higher ed, for the last 20 years. I've worked in public outreach, working with teachers in 2nd through 4th grade mainly, here in the United States and abroad, developing curriculum related to history. And one of the most important things I've seen through all of this is just how fundamental the elementary school in particular, but all levels of schooling through college are to building a community. Several people on the council have spoken about that and the need for these community spaces. My husband and I moved here almost 4 years ago, and our first point of contact was Bedford Hills and the teachers, the principals, the staff there. My husband and my eldest daughter came ahead of us because we had to close on our house, and they understood our situation. They made us feel completely welcome. The experience we've had in the school system to date has been amazing. But over the last year, with some of the perhaps miscommunications with the board, with families, with faculty and staff, we've seen that experience diminish a bit. And it's my goal to make sure that not only my children maintain this level of excellence that they've experienced in the school system, but that it's equal across the board. The discrepancies we've seen between just the two schools we've had experiences in really impact how students do, how staff do, how faculty feel welcome, how the community builds around it. And so in stepping forward for this, that's my main aim. I have no other agenda but to help students, faculty, staff, and families communicate better. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Hope you're having a good evening. I know it's been a long one for all of you. So my name is Karen Morin, and I moved here 23 years ago as a single mother of a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. And one of the things that persuaded me to accept the job offer at Randolph College was because of Lynchburg's excellent public schools, because I'm a strong believer in public school education. I'm a product of public schools myself, and my dad was a public school teacher too. Okay, I grew up in a household with a math teacher as a dad. I'm a higher education professional with over 30 years of experience, and I'm also a scientist. I've been teaching not only at Randolph College for the past 22 years, I'm about to start my 23rd year, but I've also been teaching at the Virginia Summer Governor's School for high school students, and my college students and I have run the Little Scientist events at Science Festival at Randolph College. Maybe some of you have had children or grandchildren who've gone there. My interns and I run the program for the 2 to 7-year-olds, Little Scientists, which serves hundreds of children every spring. I am also an avid collaborator with Lynchburg City Schools on a number of projects. Most recently, collaborators at University of Lynchburg and Sweetbriar and the City of Lynchburg and Lynchburg City School collaborated on 2 forest garden projects, one at R.S. Payne Elementary School in 2023 and the other at E.C. Glass High School. Both of these were fully funded by grants from the Virginia Department of Forestry, and we collaborated with teachers and administrators and facility staff in both those cases. I also bring with me nonprofit leadership experience. I've been a member of the 500-Year Forest Foundation's board since 2018. I serve as board secretary. I'm also the research coordinator and helped them start a forestry internship project. We have interns that work with us every summer. One of our former interns is actually interning with the City of Lynchburg now. She's going to be working with Nicholas Myers as an urban forestry intern. I also serve on the board of the Virginia Governor's School Foundation and on the scholarship committee. My 3 children have all been students at Lynchburg City Schools. 2 of them have graduated and gone on to great success in college and beyond. And the 3rd one is a junior now at E.C. Glass High School and at the Governor's School. What I would bring to the school board is a deep understanding of pedagogy, a deep appreciation for the importance of strong public education in our community and how much it helps to attract people to come to our community, to invest in our community, and how important it is to have good civic education for all of our children. I also am a deep believer in the need for inclusive learning environments that foster accessible education for every child. Every child has the right to that. I also understand the importance of listening to many points of view, and I'm determined to be an advocate in the community. Thank you all, and I hope you have a good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. My name is Marcus Bush. I'm a resident in Ward 1 and I'm also in District 1. I'm here this evening because, well, many of you know because our current mayor, Mayor Taylor, our former mayor, Mayor Reed, I'm every day in the community with our kids, with our young men and women, and as I started really thinking about things and I started really praying about things, I started asking myself as I visit these kids at school, as I'm involved with them in their sports programs, what is it that they need most? So it's very easy to stand up here and say, and I don't want anybody to take this as a slight because I'm not saying this to demean anybody other, but we can sit here and say that the children are all that matters. I think it's pretty selfish to say that. Here's why. How can I ask for a teacher who is empty to fill my child up? That is my question. That's rhetorical. How can I ask a teacher or instructional staff who are empty to fill my child up? We all know that the end goal is to take care of our children and to provide the best education possible. And once appointed to the school board, I will work with my colleagues to bring you real solutions that make the environment answer the questions that our kids are struggling with. Reading comprehension, that's the #1 thing. But again, that's for another day. The biggest concern that we have in our school district right now is how do we continue to ask empty people to fill our children up? It's not possible. We just celebrated Mother's Day, and I see several mothers in this room, and all of you are outstanding mothers. When you are empty, what do you have to offer? That's the same thing that I'm saying about our staff, our school staff. I'm a father of a rising junior at Glass. I'm a father of a rising 6th grader headed to Dunbar, go Poets. And I'm very proud of our principal, Dr. Jason Jambrone, at Darrington Elementary, where I was the PTO president for a while. What I'm simply here to say is once appointed to the school board, we will work on real solutions to really make sure that the folks that we're asking to fill up our children are filled first. Thank you for your time and have a great evening.
Good evening, City Council. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor. Just thank you for the time for allowing me to speak. My name is Todd Williams, and I live in District 2. The reason I have applied for City Council, or not City Council, the reason I have applied for school board is because I love this city. I moved here 14 years ago to go to school. And I stayed because of what the city offers. And the future of this city is our students. If we can't see that, then who are we? Me, I'm a US Navy veteran, and I currently work for the post office as a letter carrier. I have, as my whole entire adult life, I have volunteered as within the church ministries for the kids. And I love it. I love working with the kids. My apologies. I only just found about this last night. If appointed, I will work with our professional educators in the school who are in the trenches every single day. They know what's going on. They know the answers that need to be answered, the questions that need to be answered. And I will work alongside them, work alongside you gentlemen and ladies, by ensuring that our future, our students, receive a top-notch education. Like I said, again, I apologize for being so short, but I will, after tonight, I will reach out to each of you individually to answer any questions that you may have about me, who I am, and what I want to see invested in this city. I just thank you for your time, and have a good night. Thank you, sir.
Hello, good evening. Selena Morgan, I am Ward 1, District 1. Madam Mayor, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, council members. All right, so all things Selena Morgan, I serve in this city, I work for this city, I run a nonprofit in this city, I am a business owner in this city, I have two students at Glass, 2 students at Bedford Hills, and I have one. We're drenched. We just packed up a dorm at Virginia State and came straight here. So why am I running for school board? So last year, all things. So I'm 100% an advocate for all of our students. And if my experiences this school year didn't teach me anything, this is exactly why I feel like myself as a parent and a community advocate, a foster parent, all those wonderful things make a difference. This October, I received a phone call from an administrator here at EC Glass High School, and when I picked up that phone, I heard my student screaming, right? I'm told there's been an altercation, we need you to get to the school. My student had been assaulted in her classroom, unprovoked, and in that moment, right, everything that's going on, after speaking with the teacher, panic button was pushed 5 times, no response. My student's assaultant was able to re-enter that classroom 3 times. Now, this particular student, my kid, has a significant history of domestic violence. So do you know, with adding into domestic violence and then her assaultant being let back into the classroom 3 times, right? Can you imagine those triggers consistently? And totally unprovoked, not warranted or anything like this. So In that measure, my student walked out of that building in handcuffs. Why? Because in all of those things afterwards and finally being removed out of the classroom, and granted, she was very, very escalated. I would be too if I was minding my business and somebody punched me in the face, all on camera. She was walked out of the building in handcuffs and taken downtown. So finally, video comes out. The student that attacked her actually recorded the whole thing. But what I want us to understand is this situation was very traumatizing for my student. My student had to go to art ed for 2 quarters. For 2 quarters, right? 2 quarters she was removed and she was attacked. What I learned is our art ed program is not pushing our kids. We need somebody there to actually reinforce funding. All of that, there's accountability that's lacking over there, and I really would like to be that person to hold them accountable. I'm not attacking anybody, but this experience taught me we are really missing a lot. Thank you for your time. Have a great evening.
Last call for District 1. If it's okay, Mr. Mayor, we'll move to District 2. We're ready for District 2? Yes.
Hello. I'd like to introduce myself and to express my interest in becoming a member of the Lynchburg School Board. I am a graduate of Lynchburg College, where I received a degree in undergraduate and also my master's degree in education.
Ma'am, could you state your name, please?
Yes, my name is Paula Mills.
Thank you.
I have 20 years of teaching experience with the public schools, including Lynchburg Public Schools and some other local school systems. I've done volunteer work for the Lynchburg Public Schools by teaching classes and workshops in birds and also in wildlife rehabilitation. I have worked extensively with youth in the Lynchburg area, some through teaching music with the Parks and Recreation Department, where I taught children from babies through adults, and also through my own music school, which was my own music business. I have been involved with this public school system through teaching, and also because I am a parent and a grandparent of children who have been through the public school system. My husband and I have resided in Lynchburg for over 45 years, and we reside in the Fort Hill area. I am a member of the Fort Hill Brookville Timberlake Lions Club, and many of our club projects have involved helping the school systems. We have purchased library books, school supplies, and have done vision and hearing screenings for quite a number of the local schools. I believe I have the skill set that it is involved in becoming a school board member. I think the most important thing in being a school board member is the vision, the ability to visualize and then to manifest what we visualize for our children and for our school system. I believe it should be a bipartisan group, and a group made up of people with a variety of skill sets. I believe it needs to be a group that are all guided and committed to the school system, have been involved with children, parents, teachers, and the community. I believe that above all else, we should be able to work as a group, because if we can't work as a group, we really can't do anything. If I was selected, I would be very committed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Dr. Harvey Clam, and I am appreciative of your time this evening. I am a 52-year resident of Lynchburg, moved here in 1973. At that time, I had been teaching public education for a couple years in Ohio, and came here to join the staff at Liberty Christian Academy. I was teacher there for 16 years, varsity baseball coach and varsity soccer coach. Enjoyed my time, and one of the things that I learned was that the location of the students should not diminish the fact that they are Lynchburg, and they are Lynchburg students, they're Lynchburg kids. So I've worked with them, worked at LCA as a teacher and coach for 16 years, then became high school principal there for 12 years, then became school superintendent there for 6 years. Following that, I started Liberty University Online Academy, a K-12 online school program that now reaches almost 19,000 students around the world. So I bring K-12 experience, I bring online experience, and currently I am a professor at Liberty University. Been there for the last 12 years, and a number of my students are working as teachers in Lynchburg City Schools. So my passion is that children, regardless of who they are or where they live, should have the opportunity to have a great education. And so my expertise and my background, I believe, helps the school board be able to fulfill its mission and vision for helping students in this community to excel. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, members of the council. It's an honor to be here with you, and I always learn so much in these chambers, so thank you for this opportunity. My name's Mike Barron. I am in District 2, Ward 2, live right over there. There are many reasons I believe I would be a strong addition to the Lynchburg City School Board, but I'm going to start with my top 4. Bryce, Titus, Milo, Jay. These are my boys. And next year, they'll be in grades 3 through 12 across Lynchburg City Schools. I have real skin in the game. I'm not just invested, I'm living it every single day. I experience our schools through the eyes of a parent, and I care deeply about the policies and decisions that shape my boys' education, as well as the lives of every student in our district. No one is more motivated to see our schools thrive than a parent with children in the system. But beyond that, my role as a father, I bring a wide range of experience. I've worked in education as a teacher, family engagement specialist, a coordinator for after-school programs for credit recovery and tutoring. I currently serve on the CTE Advisory Committee and previously served on the Equity Task Force. And I've worked alongside youth through organizations like the Boys and Girls Club. I'm also a local business owner, which gives me a strong connection to the broader Lynchburg community and a practical understanding of leadership, budgeting, accountability, and the need to proactively find solutions rather than just talking about them. In many cases, we may be part of the solution, which is why most mornings and afternoons I drive a school bus for LCS currently. There's a major need in transportation. I had a CDL for the last 15 years. I thought I could maybe be part of that solution. But this role has also given me a front row seat to the daily realities our students face. And these aren't just numbers. These are names. I know them. I call them by name every time they get on the bus and every time they get off the bus. And occasionally, when they need some redirection. Through all of these experiences, especially parenting and driving around teenagers, I've become adept at having difficult conversations with understanding. It's a part of leadership and living in community well. Healthy conflicts can grow us, and diverse perspectives can strengthen us, so I humbly embrace both. I see obstacles as opportunities and problems as potential. Perhaps most importantly, I have a heart for this city, especially for downtown and Ward 2. I see these students who are overlooked, I see their potential, and I see them because I live in their neighborhood. So I'm not here looking for a title, I'm asking for an opportunity to affect every student, especially Bryce, Titus, Milo, and Jay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of City Council. My name is Jack Collins. I'm a resident of Ward 4. I appreciate the opportunity to stand before you as an applicant for District 2. Just briefly about me, I've lived in Lynchburg for the last 7 years. I hold a bachelor's degree in government with minors in history and business, as well as a master's degree in public policy from Liberty University. For the last several years, I have worked as a legislative director in the Virginia House of Delegates. And through that role, I've had the opportunity and the privilege of working on issues of importance to our community, including education. And I've also had the opportunity to collaborate with leaders across the Commonwealth, leaders sitting in this room as well, many of you, on issues big and small. My education that I gained over the last couple of years and a while back gave me the tools needed to succeed, but also my experience has shaped the love I have for education. Growing up in North Carolina, I attended a Title I elementary school, and then I transitioned on to a magnet middle and high school. And I know what it's like to be in school environments with limited resources as well as those built around innovation. My heart for education and my deep respect for educators that get up every single day to train our next generation comes from home. My mom is an educator, my grandmother was an educator, my twin brother is an educator, he teaches elementary school. I hear it all the time, I've heard it growing up, the challenges that we face in school divisions, and it only seems to be getting worse. I've worked alongside, like I said, many of you in the room, and several of our current and former school board members on issues affecting our community and our region. And I don't have to tell you the challenges that we're facing as a school division. I'm confident that with a new superintendent coming in and new members coming on board to the school board, we have an opportunity to refocus our vision for the future on the fundamentals and maintain a school culture where teachers are supported, parents are respected and heard, and students are as prepared for success as they possibly can be. That's the mission. That's what I believe to be the mission. So I know my time's running short, and we can continue this conversation hopefully later, but I would be honored to earn your support for school board this year. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor Taylor, Vice Mayor Deemer, City Councilman and Council ladies. My name is Jabri Poe, and I am a resident of Ward 4, running or seeking appointment for District 2. First and foremost, I want to let you know that I'm a father. I have 4 of my children in the back. Almost didn't make it here because that bench back there almost gave way, but I'm here. I started my day today in the pouring down rain, fixed breakfast for them, dropping them off at their elementary school and their middle school. And want to give you a little bit about myself. I'm very involved in the community. I'm currently on the School Health Advisory Board. I'll be speaking with the school board about bullying, which we know is a very important topic that tends to happen and plague our schools. I'm also a member of the Martin Luther King Jr. Board, where I interact with the community. I also have been employed at the Lynchburg Group Home for over 7 or 8 years, where I work with some of our most troubled youth. In those 7 or 8 years, I've only had to restrain 3 or 4 children. Why? Because I know how to talk to kids. I know how to deal with kids, our most troubled kids. Just at the International Festival, I had 5 or 6 guys, young guys with me, where we talked and walked and listened to the music and spent time with them. I was raised by my father. I'm a Lynchburg native, born and raised. Graduated from EC Glass in 1999, where I very first started my community service, where I was in a club called Astra, where we went to Wintergreen to the Winter Olympics and worked with those that were challenged. I read to the kids over at the, I believe back then it was they didn't have a group home. They had actual houses, and we would go and read to kids. And I want to let that be known that I understand that literacy is one of the biggest issues that our city schools face. I've worked with a lot of the principals at all the different schools. Just a few weeks ago, we hosted a kids panel over at the Miller Center, where kids got to speak about the things that they were troubled about and how we could help them as parents. And I thought that was important, that we get to learn about what the kids need. And as a parent,
Thank you, brother.
thank you. I appreciate your time.
All right. Good evening, Mayor Taylor and members of City Council. My name's April Watson. I live in District 2, Ward 4. I'm proud to say that I was born and raised in Lynchburg, right here. And I'm a graduate of Heritage High School. I am a product of Lynchburg City Schools. I know firsthand the role our schools play in shaping lives. Today, I have the privilege of raising my own children in this community and in our schools. I'm a licensed clinical social worker with nearly 2 decades of experience serving vulnerable populations in Lynchburg. My work has given me a clear view of both the challenges families face and the incredible potential that emerges when people receive the support that they need. I'm also a mother of 3, one in middle school, one in elementary school, and a toddler who will be in kindergarten before I know it. And I'm really hoping that things are resolved somewhat before then. So I approach education not just as a professional, but as a deeply invested parent with a long-term stake in the success of our public schools. As another person said, I have skin in the game, and I'm prepared to show up to work hard every single day. For the last 8 years, I've been actively involved in the Lynchburg City Schools through multiple parent-teacher organizations. I currently serve on 2 different PTOs, one elementary school and one middle school. And I've had just about every position: president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, all those fun things. Know a little bit of, just enough to be dangerous, probably. I was honored to serve recently as the parent representative on the Academic Success Committee for Lynchburg City Schools. I did that for I was selected for the 2003-2004 school year, and I continue to attend all those committee meetings and participate when I'm allowed. Those roles have given me the opportunity to collaborate with educators, support students, and advocate for positive practical improvements in our schools. I know that we have some issues, truancy and different things, and I have some real solutions to help kind of solve some of those. I'm here tonight to respectfully request an interview for a seat on the Lynchburg City School Board. I'm not new to this work. I regularly attend board meetings, I serve on multiple other community boards, and I'm familiar with parliamentary procedure. I'm ready to contribute from day one with clarity, commitment, and care. There's not going to be a huge learning curve with me. I've been watching for years. I've got lots of notes, and I know what needs to be done. Parents, teachers, and this community know me as someone who listens, shows up, and follows through. I've built trust by being approachable, respectful, and solutions-focused, and I'll bring that same spirit to the board if given the opportunity. I'm excited to serve, to learn, and to continue working for the well-being of our city, especially our children and families. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Last call for District 2 candidates. Seeing no movement. District 3?
Hello, Mayor Taylor, Vice Mayor Deemer, members of City Council. My name is Corey Thomas. I live in Ward 2. I'm representing District 3. And I am here to present my qualifications and my interests as a potential member of the school board. I have 9 years of education experience in higher education. I taught writing, literature, and research methods classes at Liberty and Longwood universities. I worked primarily with freshman students, which means I have a really good sampling of what kinds of student outcomes the school systems, both in Central Virginia and outside of it, are producing. I worked with lots of international students, lots of lower income students, lots of students who barely made it to college by the skin of their teeth, and some who didn't make it through. So I feel like I have a good range of experience in what is coming out of the school system, though I have never taught inside it. I also have a lot of administrative experience serving on committees for recruitment, retention, and fundraising at the college level. That's a magic word in higher education as much as it is in K through 12, fundraising. So I have two particular areas of focus that I would bring to candidacy for the school board. One of them is a primary focus on student skill building. A huge number of the students that I saw, both at Liberty and Longwood, lacked a lot of the basic skills that we would expect to see from students by the time they reach college. I mean students who lacked basic reading comprehension, who had never written a paper by the time they got to college, who could not do research, who were not comfortable looking anywhere except TikTok for their information, and who really struggled to do things like manage their time. And I realized that I have a skewed sample set because I saw the kids who got to college. So I realized that in helping many of those students catch up on those skills, I was meeting a need that an overwhelmed school system could not always meet before the children graduated, those who did. Lack of these skills set those students significantly behind others in my classes and strongly predicted both their lack of retention in higher education and their later success. So I think a primary focus of any school system needs to be both on preparing students to succeed during K through 12 and then giving them the skills that they need for a post K through 12 life, whatever that looks like for them. The other thing I would like to focus on is school-wide mental health. I'm not just talking about students. I know many teachers in Lynchburg City Schools and in the surrounding areas that I went to grad school with, that I stay in touch with, and there's an almost universal sense of overwhelm, of lack of support, of being reluctant to go into the classroom and deal with their students because they don't know what they're going to find in terms of support from families, from administration, from their fellow teachers. And this is something that the school board should be able to address in concrete ways for them. Of course, I'm also talking about student mental health. We have rising rates of student anxiety and depression in K through 12 and in higher education across the country. Every college that I'm aware of has an overwhelmed mental health department. And I believe that we can make Lynchburg City Schools a place that prioritizes both student skills and mental health, setting them up for success beyond the school system. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. My name is Tiana Wilson. I am currently, first and foremost, a parent of a middle school child and an elementary school child. My priority for being here today is them. Secondary to that are staggering issues that I've seen at the school and school board level. My experience includes early childhood education, special education, but in the last 20 years, I've worked in healthcare, marketing, sales, and most currently operations. I've been involved in advocacy in the community for quite a few years, addressing the homelessness and addiction in the city, working very closely with the Haven and healthcare providers. I believe that my skill set is crucial to the board. My focus would first and foremost be safety in our schools, discipline, and then closing the achievement gaps, primarily in math. I think that a board member is needed that is able to collaborate, communicate effectively, and with emotional maturity. I do believe that that is lacking. Because of my professional experience, I have had the privilege of effectively collaborating, communicating, negotiating with every single member of our community, from police officers to EMS, to physicians, to families. And that's who our main stakeholders are, right? Our teachers, our students, our community members. I would also love to see a focus in Lynchburg City Schools with hiring very tenured educators, making sure that they are being compensated fairly, and focusing on retaining those educators. So I appreciate an opportunity to come and speak to you this evening and state my intentions to be a board member that can bring real solutions. I just, want to echo some of the other candidates who have spoken to you. There is a huge focus on the problem and very little focus on solutions. And I am excited, eager, and passionate about providing solutions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Last call for any District 3 candidates. Okay. Seeing none, Mr. Mayor, I do have one voicemail from candidate Dr. Laura Morrison Hussein in District 1. If now's the appropriate time to play it, I'm happy to do so.
Yes, ma'am, you may.
A thought, usually we carry this over. Would we want to save that for the next one, just in case anybody else doesn't play them all at once? I don't know.
Sure, my only thinking is that the next portion of the public hearing would be for the community at large to comment on candidates.
The floor will be open.
It's fine.
Okay, go ahead and play that now.
Hi, this is Dr. Laura Morrison Hussein of 1124 Rugby Road. I am currently on vacation overseas and I am unable to attend the meeting Tuesday, May 13th. But I thank you for allowing me this opportunity over voicemail to express my enthusiasm for being a member of the Lynchburg City School Board. I've recently retired from a career in the field of education with over 25 years as a teacher, trainer, assistant principal, and district chief of staff. I would like to serve the Lynchburg City schools and our community with my experience and educational knowledge. A key issue that motivates me to serve on the Lynchburg City School Board is ensuring educational equity and opportunity for all students. Every child, regardless of background, deserves access to high-quality education, strong academic programs, and the resources necessary to succeed. I am deeply committed to closing achievement gaps, supporting teachers, and making sure our schools are well-funded and effectively managed. I have seen firsthand how disparities in funding, curriculum, and student support can impact learning outcomes. I want to advocate for policies that prioritize student success, strengthen teacher retention, and create safe, inclusive learning environments. Additionally, I believe in transparency and community engagement, ensuring that families and educators have voice in shaping the future of our schools. By serving on the school board, I aim to bring thoughtful leadership, practical solutions, and a commitment to excellence in Lynchburg schools. My goal is to help create an education system that prepares every student for success, both in the classroom and beyond. Thank you for your consideration, and I look forward to working with you.
That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Dr. Laura Morrison Hussein in District 1.
Okay, the floor is now open for community.
Thank you. My name is Jeff Rosner, Ward 1. I would like to suggest some topics that City Council should consider in its interviews of school board candidates and its decisions on appointments to the school board. Some of these involve City Council in other ways as well. One topic is legislative advocacy, which is one subject of a school board committee. Another is the conduct of board members. That conduct was discussed in a city council meeting in February after a board member posted an inappropriate picture in the administration building. Two other topics were issues in the 2024 city council elections: the school budget and the city's portion of the budget were discussed at citywide candidate forums. Another topic, whether to allow corporal punishment or paddling in the schools was discussed at the candidate forum for Ward 2. I hope that the appointment process will allow enough time for consideration of candidates' positions on these topics. And finally, I have two questions that I suggest City Council ask the candidates. One is, do you have or did you have school-age children? And if the answer is yes, do they attend or did they attend Lynchburg City Schools? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor,
Good
members of council. I'm Kate Goodman. I live in Ward 4. I came to Lynchburg a decade or 2 or 3 ago to go to college and left for a while and have been back for a long time. I do not have children. I've not had children in the city schools, although I was involved in the raising of nieces and nephews and experienced as much of that as I think I could manage. I am really grateful to everyone who has presented themselves with all good intentions and interest in serving the city in this way. And for those who spoke tonight, I'd particularly like to express confidence in and support of Patrick Earl, Karen Warren, and April Watson. Those are people I know through my association with Randolph-Macon Women's College and now Randolph College, and as a member of the Social Services Advisory Board. And they are people whose commitment I would not question, whose ability to affect positive change is without question in my mind, and who I would really look forward to having shape the lives of the young people who will be running my city. So I think those are really prime choices for you, and I appreciate everyone's commitment to making the best choices possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't realize how stiff you get sitting in one spot for several hours until you go to get up. Dr. Beth White, Ward 3. I am speaking tonight in endorsing, if you want to call it that, 2 individuals for District 2, one of which I have not seen in probably 10 years or so. Dr. Clam I've known for 20 years at least. He had just transitioned from LCA to begin LU Online Academy, and a division of that was also known as the Patriot Academy, where we had military students, and that's where I began to know him. We had military students who had not yet received their high school diploma, and so we started the Patriot Academy to allow usually National Guard students the opportunity to get their high school degree. He was knowledgeable, approachable, and able to make tough decisions. He cared about not just his students, but also his employees. And he doesn't know this, but there were lots of times that I wanted to jump ship and go work for him just because of the way he treated his employees. Like I said, I worked with him at the Patriot Academy. The other that I want to recommend is Jabri Poe. I've known Jabri for just a couple of years. Served with him on the Martin Luther King Lynchburg Community Council. But that's not where I'm most impressed with him. I also am a member of the 40 Waste Coalition that Councilwoman Reed started last year. The interaction that Jabri has with our youth, not just with our youth, but with all members of the community. He truly cares about the youth. He cares about this community. And if you could just attend a meeting, in fact, we have one next Monday, you should come out and just watch the interaction that Jabri has with our students in this community. It is just spot on amazing. And I know that that care and compassion and concern that he has for the youth of our city is something that he would bring to the school board as well. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mark Ordewer, and I'd like to speak on behalf of Karen Warren. I'm a colleague of Karen's over at Randolph College, and I'm also her husband. But you can be assured that I have an absolute devotion to objectivity. So I have had a front row seat to Karen's very impressive career and to her life. As she mentioned, we have raised 3 children who are all students at Lynchburg City Schools, and we're very lucky to be part of its many excellent opportunities and programs. And Karen founded the department over at the college where we teach. She founded the department of which she is chair, and for many years, she was basically the department, and she has grown it from essentially nothing to the very successful department it is today, which offers several very popular programs. And all through that time, she has shown devotion and responsibility to the college, to her department, and most of all, to her students. And if she becomes part of the school board, I feel absolutely confident that she will show the same responsibility and commitment to the city of Lynchburg, and most of all, to the students of Lynchburg City Schools.
Thank you.
My name is Colleen Larkins. I live in Ward 4. First, I want to thank the staff for all your hard work in putting all of these things together. I know it's not easy and lots of applications and lots of emails, so really appreciate you guys. I'm not going to speak on a specific person, but as you guys look at who you want for school board, we all know that we have a lot to do at LCS. We have a brand new superintendent coming soon, and that person is going to set a vision for where we're going. We need school board members who will listen, not just to parents, but to admin, to teachers, who will dig in to who our community is. There were lots of great people who got up here and spoke who do know what's going on in our community. And I think that is vitally important as we move forward, because we're a little bit different in LCS. If you, as a parent of a student, talk to people in other counties or other cities, we have a very different makeup of our students than other places. And so to already understand our community, to already understand our students and where they're coming from is really important. The other thing is integrity. We've watched some things happen on our school board, so to know that those people have integrity is really, really important. And last, but definitely not least, is that we don't need any more politics on our school board. Some of you have done a great job of separating political beliefs from what happens in our schools, because that's what's needed, and it's so greatly appreciated. As you look towards who needs to be on the school board, I ask that you put aside their political affiliations, if they have any, and look at them as people, because that's what matters. Can they serve our students well? And I would like to include that as we move forward, there is only one person looking to be reappointed, and that's Gloria Preston. I would advocate that she be reappointed so that we have somebody who's consistent on the school board. Dr. Gupta is the only person who will have served more than 3 years after this cycle, and I think having some consistency is really important. So thank you.
Continuing with our tradition, we extend this to our next meeting for anyone who couldn't make it to speak.
I'll look for consensus after.
Oh, I was jumping the gun. I didn't see you. I'm so sorry.
Give him time to come up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Councilman. I'm here this evening to endorse Jabri Poe for...
Could you state your name, please?
I'm sorry. My name is Brandon Arthur. I am a 11-member of Ward 4. Here to give an endorsement for Jabri Poe for his candidacy into the school board for District 2. I've had the pleasure of knowing Jabri for a very long time. I get to see on a regular basis him interacting with his own children I get to see him going in and every chance he gets to volunteer and help in this community, to be a voice for these kids, to be structured for them. I know that his heart's in it, and I know that he'll do a good job in remaining equal across the board and being a great person to serve on this board. And I definitely hope you all will take him in consideration when you're doing your voting in there, because it would be a great candidate for it. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, looking for new last call for community at large. Okay, seeing no movement. Mr. Mayor, I do have one voicemail from Bob Armont that I can play into the record.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
This is a citizen at large and not Cindy Redding.
In regards to the May 13th City Council meeting about school board candidates, my name is Bob Armach, 505 Brunswick Road, Lynchburg, Virginia. I'm a 25-year citizen of Lynchburg. I'm calling in support of Karen Warren for school board. Karen's an intelligent, diligent, respectful woman who would work efficiently and conscientiously on the school board. She's a professor at Randolph College, so she's professionally engaged and knowledgeable about the education field. She has 3 children, 2 of whom are graduated from school, one still in Lynchburg school system in 11th grade, so she is very engaged personally in the school system. I would strongly advocate and support her membership on the school board. Thank you very much for your time and your consideration of Karen Warren.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And as Councilmember Ferraldi alluded to, I will be looking for consensus for you all to hold over this public hearing to May 27th to allow for more public input and applications.
Yes.
Seeing nods. Okay, thank you so much.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
if I may, in years past, we have allowed council members to at least offer who they're inclined to request for an interview. Is that an appropriate time to ask that now based off of who's spoken already, or should we wait?
We do usually wait till the second public hearing.
Second.
But that's really council's pleasure. We'll wait till the second.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, we're at the next section. It's public comment. Speakers have 3 minutes to talk. If you're speaking for a group, you have 5. City council listens to your comments and may ask the city manager to follow up. Citizens often have different opinions. To make sure everyone feels comfortable speaking, there is no applause, cheers, or jeers. Do not intimidate, insult, or disrupt others. Do not use profanity, promote businesses, or campaign for office. Agenda item number 14, hear from a citizen regarding the City Public Library at the Plaza. Health and safety concerns, Joshua Pratt, who I don't think I see. Okay. Agenda item number 15, hear from a citizen regarding fears, members of the LGBTQ+ encounter, Teresa Odell. Please restate your name and locality of residence.
My name is Teresa Odell, and I live in the city of Lynchburg. Good evening. I am here to speak to many fears people in our community focus upon. The first important word in my first sentence is fear. One member of Lynchburg City Council here made a characterization which was posted and spread by Lynchburg's major news channel, unfortunately, and was spread on their television program and online. It was a spark which ignited many responses. The content seen by Lynchburg, created by Marty Misgens, resulted in unpleasant feelings and thoughts. It featured a heterosexual individual encountering a trans person in a restroom stall, which was satirical. Part of his response was, quote, "There is nothing personal about my views and what is sinful," unquote. Labeling someone's identity as sinful is a message of hate. Before this event, fear has existed towards anyone of difference, especially queer people of Lynchburg. There are 2 stories of events to share and 2 facts. Wyoming University's college student, Matthew Shepard, was brutally murdered in 1998 as a gay young man because of hatred. He was beaten and suffered an agonizing death on a fence post. Secondly, in a field in upstate New York, February 13th, 2025, Sam Norquist, a 24-year-old transgender male, was discovered by repeated murdered by repeated acts of violence and torture. From 1998 to 2018, more than 600 LGBTQIA+ people were recorded to have been killed because of their identity. The Human Rights Campaign in 2021 reported 45 LGBTQ+ people died by acts of violence leading to violent death. Often, numerous reports are unreported. Before Matthew Shepard died, and today, 27 years later, our leading administration has plans to create extreme laws to minimize any rights once existing to protect trans individuals and threatens the LGBTQ+. Trans people experience safe and proper housing issues. In Lynchburg, Virginia, the Salvation Army does not accept the trans who are homeless, and they are turned away. Home and safety is a luxury we take for granted. Fear and hatred persist and...
Thank you. Thank you. Your time is up.
Agenda item number 16, hear from a group representative regarding Lighten the Burden, Greg Berry, city elders, and I don't see him in attendance. Agenda item number 17, hear from a citizen regarding capital improvements at the library, Crystal Howell. Please restate your name and locality of residence. Thank you.
Good evening, members of City Council. My name is Dr. Crystal Howell, and I'm here to speak as a citizen of Ward 4 and as a member of the Friends of the Lynchburg Public Library in support of capital improvements for our library. I should frame my remarks by noting that I was a teacher for many years and am now a teacher educator. That is, I prepare others to lead classrooms in our community. In addition to courses on pedagogy and curriculum, I teach a course on multicultural children's literature. And in that course, we discuss how books act as mirrors and windows for children, allowing them to see themselves reflected back, that is, to see characters who are like them, sometimes in unexpected ways, and to observe ways of life that are different from themselves. Both of these functions are vital if we want children to develop into adults who are capable, confident, and able to consider points of view other than their own. Those functions are not limited to children's books. Even as adults, books help us understand ourselves and understand others better. They inform us, yes, but they also nurture in us the ability to imagine that someone might see the world differently than we do. This skill is essential in democracies such as ours. As we often see in these chambers, residents of our city have very different goals for our community. And even when we share goals, we imagine different ways of reaching them. We must be able to engage in dialogue with one another. That is, we must be able to discuss challenging issues with the potential to have our own minds changed if we are to create and sustain a functional city. The Friends, I want to clarify, do not review library content. We are a nonprofit fundraising and support group. We are people who are excited about the library and want to advocate for it. We trust our fantastic and skilled librarians to acquire a wide array of materials of interest to our community, representing many points of view, and we support everyone's right to read and to access information. We also trust our librarians and other library staff when they talk to us about the significant repairs and improvements needed at our library. The capital improvements under discussion are not just beautification projects. Renovations might make the library look a little nicer, but the real goal here is structural. We want the library to function as best it can and to remain safe for patrons. These capital improvements will help it do so. Finally, other city residents interested in joining the board for the Friends may complete an application available on the library website. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 18, hear from a citizen regarding councilmember missions and appropriate email to city employees. Sue Stengel. Please restate your name and locality of residence.
I'm Sue Stengel from Ward, 3. There we go. City Council is a body of government, and as such, each of you should be working together as a team and working in concert with the city staff. You should respect each other and every employee of the city. With few exceptions, city employees are proud of the work and want to do their best for those of us who live in the city. For many years as a consultant, I worked with companies and government agencies on improvements to their procedures, systems, software, and hardware. I worked with private sector department managers, their employees, and CEOs. I work with police and fire chiefs, sheriffs, their personnel, and city and county staffs all over the country. Efficiency improvements result from a thorough understanding of processes that employees use. Corrective actions, cost reductions, and a reduction in force are frequently the result. An email with a survey that should have been caught by the city servers as malicious spam was sent by Mr. Mischens to hundreds of city employees. The letter was an attempt to gaslight employees about his purpose. It completely misrepresented his intent, which was twofold. First, it was a blatant political manipulation of employees to stir discontent and create a hostile work environment a la Elon Musk. Second, it was intended to instigate disrespect of city government staff, in particular, City Manager Winter Benda. Many of the employees who received that email and survey did not understand the intent behind it. Over the years, I was given and asked to review survey questions and consultant reports prior to beginning one of my assessments. I did run into the occasional biased report and questions meant to achieve a particular answer. I would read it, identify the hidden agendas and flaws, and ignore it. That is what any good consultant will do with the survey results from an unqualified individual who should never have had the ability to send a survey to hundreds of employees. Was the goal of creating a hostile workplace achieved? I have hope that it was not. City Council again talks about changing policies for its behavior. The policy I would like to see change is one that prevents any city council person from acting alone in any matter affecting hundreds of employees. Thank you.
Item number 19, hear from a citizen regarding what's happening in Lynchburg. Peter Safarati. Please restate your name and locality of residence.
Peter Safarati, Ward 1. I was a little snippy when I was up here before, so hope you'll accept my apology for that. Sometimes it's a little frustrating to watch how things happen in this room. By the way, thank you for the explanation of the baseball expenditure. That was helpful. Now, I want to recognize those of you who have developed ideas to stretch our dollars. We've heard proposals for consolidations, alternative funding sources, input from city employees, and public-private partnerships to deliver services less expensively, and we greatly appreciate those efforts. However, a great number of citizens who voted in the present council majority are questioning the way things are being handled, and we have a lot of questions. We'd like some answers once in a while. At the Budget and Brews meetings, we were told that the library project was a repair of plumbing and roof issues. Now, it turns out that an almost completely new library is being planned. When we questioned the $10 million price to fix the pool leak, we were not told that the project is really a total rebuild of the area with a larger pool. Now, was the council aware of the true scope of these projects? If so, was the public misled about this? And most importantly, can we afford the $23 million for this when there are so many more critical needs to be addressed? I'd like to have my time back to
Recess.
Okay.
good idea.
5 minutes.
Thank you.
Meeting to resume.
Do I get any more time back?
We paused it pretty much right on time, so.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so taking up where I left off. Another question we have is, why does this council not require the city manager to provide a budget based on the equalized tax rate in addition to the high tax proposed budget we always get? Question is, don't you think that this would speed up our process and promote efficiency and thrift in spending our money? And wouldn't that be a good thing? The public has proposed it to this council and to the staff leaders to begin rewarding city employees for ideas on how to do their jobs differently, more efficiently to save us money. They should be asked about where funds are being wasted, and is there any fraud and abuse taking place? After all, it's been exposed on a massive level in Washington. Can we assume that it wouldn't happen here in Lynchburg? If none is reported, we can be proud of our city. If improper handling of funds is happening, wouldn't you want to know? If one won't look, are they trying to hide something? Councilman Misjuns is asking the questions that we want answered. We encourage him and the rest of you to keep it up. Frankly, you are losing the trust of we who gave you your chairs here. Will you shine light on what goes on here, or do you prefer the cover of darkness? Why don't you hold town meetings where our questions can be answered? Don't you think that this would result in better government? Is it too much trouble for you, or are you unable to make the case for your agendas? We remind you that city council does not belong to council members, nor does it belong to city staff. It belongs to the citizens of Lynchburg. And you all sit here as public servants. Do you agree?
Thank you.
I got interrupted there. I got just half a paragraph I'd like to continue.
Go ahead, quickly.
Okay. Anyways, you get the picture. I also, if you will indulge me, I'd like to say that Councilwoman Reed, if I mischaracterized your multitasking, please accept my apology. That would be my fault if I did that. Thank you. Thank you for your indulgence.
Agenda item number 20, hear from a citizen regarding Lynchburg Public Library oversight needed. Colin Plank. Please restate your name and locality of residence.
Colin Plank, Ward 4. Thank you. Our public library costs the city over $1.5 million per year, and I'm here to ask that you establish oversight over our public library, either by creating a library board or by replacing the city manager who has oversight with someone who will take appropriate action. You've already heard from parents about the books. You have heard from others that removing any book at all would be censorship and book banning. I'd like to respond to that. First, is it censorship? Stopping the government from promoting certain viewpoints is not censorship. Stopping citizens from promoting viewpoints is censorship. Stopping the government from promoting viewpoints is democracy. A government must respond to the will of the people. Public libraries are government institutions. We cannot depend on government institutions to be the protectors of free speech because it is the government that free speech needs protection from. So it's not censorship, but is it book banning? Consider this. The library cannot carry every book. When a book is removed from circulation, it becomes just like every other book that was never in circulation. Is that what banning means? The books are, of course, available for purchase to anyone who wants them. So they're not banned, and the government is not restricting access simply by not offering them for free. While citizens are accused of censorship, censorship is already taking place inside of our libraries. Every book that the library offers is a choice. Even controversial choices must serve the public good and do no harm. Why is it that when the community wants to choose what not to offer, that is called censorship? Meanwhile, the library is daily choosing what not to offer, but that's only curation, and that's not censorship. Why is that? Are we parents and citizens just biased, but librarians are unbiased? Research published by the ALA, the Journal of Academic Librarianship, the Library Journal, indicates that the overwhelming majority of librarians identify themselves as liberals and Democrats, so they are quite biased, and library holdings prove this out. as exposed by Cato Institute and others. So the same people decrying censorship are actually for censorship, and these are the same progressives who call for hate speech legislation, call speech violence, and want to criminalize misgendering, all forms of speech, free speech. They're not telling the truth when they say that it's about free speech. So why do they say free speech? Because free speech is the only possible cover for deliberately seeding children with Democrat policy-aligned propaganda and exposing them to sexual deviancy. So please don't fall for the free speech deception. Put the public in control of the public library. We've put you in control of the city to take care of this. Thank you.
Item number 21, hear from a citizen regarding support of the current tax rate and funding for the library, schools, and pool. Stacy Cheatham. Please restate your name and locality of residence.
My name is Stacy Cheatham, and I live on Woodside Avenue in Lynchburg. That's Ward 4. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, and City Council members. I know that you've heard from many constituents about the budget proposals, and one of the statements that I heard from council is that we need to get creative. So, in that spirit, I've brought something I hope will help. My understanding is that the public library has a leaky roof, and that's among other repairs that are needed. So I brought this bucket to represent my willingness to help. Perhaps it would come in handy when it's been raining like today. But while a shiny new bucket, although attractive, it's a good and practical thing, but it's not really enough to preserve an institution that is a treasure for most communities. Public libraries are a blessing. They serve the needs of so many residents of all ages. And a library sends a message about the values of a community, not just about its needs, but about its aspirations. The students who are graduating this month from Liberty and Randolph, University of Lynchburg, Virginia University of Lynchburg, probably spent a lot of time as children in their local libraries, where children's curiosity and thirst for knowledge and empathy are nurtured. I've heard that we have a functional library as if that's all we can hope for. I think the real point is, how long will it be functional if we continue to defer the renovations that are needed? I have another bucket here that's for something else, that's a community treasure and is also leaking, Miller Park Pool. You know that Roanoke only has 15,000 more people than we have, and their second Olympic-size outdoor pool is scheduled to open this summer. Anybody who lives in the South knows how wonderful a day at the swimming pool can be, and swimming lessons teach a fun skill and also a potentially life-saving skill. But we could lose the pool. I also have more buckets for the CIP programs at the schools, including the EC Glass Auditorium, which needs lighting and flooring and sound equipment and draperies right away. I understand they're just a symbol, but they're a symbol of my willingness to help, even if it means higher taxes.
All right, Mr. Mayor, the next section is general business and includes new items of discussion. Agenda item number 22, consideration of introducing a resolution amending the FY 2025 City Capital Projects Fund budget and appropriating $125,000 to improve parking at the Ed Page entrance to Blackwater Creek Trail. This item went to the Finance Committee on April 22nd and will be deferred to the chair of that committee, Councilmember Mischins.
All right. So the first one is going to be consideration of introducing a resolution amending the FY 2025 City Capital Projects Fund budget and appropriating $125,000 to improve parking at the Ed Page entrance to the Blackwater Creek Trail. Does somebody want to do a presentation on this or give a quick explanation on it? I remember it. you probably remember better than I do.
Yes, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, thank you for the opportunity. This $125,000 is a grant from the Awareness Garden. The grant matches a $250,000 cash appropriation that council made in December of 2023 to help construct new parking at the Ed Page entrance of the Blackwater Creek Trail, where if you all have spent any time over there, you know parking is desperately needed. There's people parked along the street in the Greek Orthodox Church parking lot. So really excited about this project. It is, design is complete, and it has actually been put out to bid, and we have received the donation from the Awareness Garden. And Mr. Shepnallen from the Awareness Garden, the treasurer, who is leading the capital campaign, is here as well. So that's what we have. Thank you very much.
And as the chair, this doesn't need a second, so I'll move that we adopt this resolution.
Is there any discussion? No?
The only thing I got to say is thank you for this. This is a great opportunity for us to get that moving, and we appreciate the donation.
Mr. Wilder?
Yes, thank you. Again, I'm so thankful for the support of the community working together with the Awareness Garden and so many other projects for the increase the parking lot there. I mean, if you go by there, especially on a Sunday, I mean, it is jam-packed. You cannot get in. But it's so important, again, the quality of life in our community. I don't run. I need to, but I do not run. That's what a community is about. Even though I may not have this, I may not have that, but you see, our community that love the God that we all talk about, love one another, I can support that project as well, even though I don't run. But my brothers and my sisters run, and I want to support them as well. And the Awareness Garden has so many great things. My sister died from cancer, so it has so many benefits in our community where we can go there. I may not run, but I can go there and sit on one of the benches there. But I'm so thankful for Awareness Garden and our community working together for all of us to make a beautiful space where we can have more parking, the beautiful trails we have. The trails in Lynchburg are one of the main drawing factors in our community. We are blessed with an awesome asset in our community. I'm thankful for the Awareness Garden and so many others working together to fund that project. Thank you.
Ms. Tillman?
Thank you. That's my favorite entrance on Blackwater Creek Trail, and I'm very excited for the additional parking. Thank you so much for the donation. I'm a huge advocate of public-private partnerships. I think it's how we can get a lot of things done, and y'all have been very gracious in this, so thank you so much.
Any more discussion? Please cast your vote.
Initiating vote now. Alrighty. The motion passes. All right, agenda item number 23, consideration of introducing an ordinance amending the FY 2025 City Capital Projects Fund budget and appropriating $5,250,000 to create a fan experience project at the City of Lynchburg's Bank the James Stadium in conjunction with the 2025 Hillcats franchise agreement. This item was discussed during the council's business item briefings on April 8th.
May I have a motion, please?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion?
Just a question. Can we just get a little more information so the public can know kind of what we're doing? Just a little summary.
Absolutely. We're going through the design process now for some of the upgrades. These are major infrastructure improvements that we're doing, and as soon as we have something that's a little bit more final, we'll get you that information. But we'll get you a summary of what's planned as quickly as possible.
But again, I think it's helped that fan experience. I think maybe a spot for children and some other things. When you go to the ballpark, you want to have that total experience, and it's going to enhance that experience. It's going to draw more of our citizens to the ballpark. Again, it gets back to that quality of life, having things that all families go to. Now, I do go to the baseball game, so I take my kids for Jubilee and my own kids to the baseball game, and I think it is so wonderful that we ain't got to go to Roanoke or nowhere else. We can stay right here in Lynchburg and have the benefits of that. So I'm thankful for that. Thank you.
Mr. Tillman? Mr. Deemer?
One of those. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to say real briefly that I do appreciate the baseball experience in Lynchburg. I look forward to seeing this experience as well. I think the fans will appreciate it since they're paying for it. And that's the way it should be. And it's the public-private partnership that I think works so well. And I hope to be there the first time that opens up.
Anyone else? Mr. Bender?
Mr. Mayor, if I may, Greg brought it up before, but I do think it bears mentioning that the city owns that stadium.
Yes.
So the good news is that this resource that's been here for as long as it has is getting the investment that it needs to continue. And as with anyone knows, or at least in my experience, 20 plus in working with AAA ball in Norfolk, you have to get a certain grade. You have to be able to have certain, it's not, when we say fan amenities, there's certain things, if you don't have it, Major League Baseball will not recognize you as a team. We're currently the single A for the Cleveland Guardians, and so as such, we want to maintain that. And that what maybe people don't realize or are not experienced with is that not too long ago, there were separated teams, separated wheat and chaff, because they didn't have certain things. So this city made the investment that was necessary in the locker rooms, in the lights, because there's a requirement as far as what it looks like. And we've since extended, if you've been there, Dr. Wild, you say you go to baseball. I know that I've seen several of you others there as well. We've since extended down the first and third baseline, the fencing that's required to keep people safe. So there are certain resources, because it is our resource, that needs to be made to make sure that we have baseball here. And I know that Greg mentioned it, and I know that it's enumerated, but I know that there's been some questions about those investments, so I thought I'd take this opportunity just to mention it. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
Just a second thought I meant to mention before. I've seen the projections, and this thing more than makes back the money. And that's what I like to see.
Any more discussion? No? Cast your votes, please.
Initiating vote now. The motion passes 5-1. All right. Item number 24, consideration of adopting a resolution amending the Lynchburg City Council's Rules of Procedures to amend subsection B12 and include a new subsection B15 under 5.3 public comment. This item was discussed during our council's business item briefings earlier tonight.
May I have a motion? Yes.
I would like to move that we table this until our organizational meeting.
Second.
Second.
To table this particular agenda item until our organizational meeting, where we discuss rules of procedure.
I'll second that.
Want to speak to your second?
She can speak to her motion.
Yeah, I'll speak to the motion. It just came up in the work session today. I don't have any particular issue with either of these amendments, but Mr. Feraldi brought up some concerns, Mr. Mischens brought up some concerns. I'm on the fence about it. I don't feel particularly strongly either way, but since we already have a discussion that's scheduled regarding rules of procedure, I know I'll be bringing forward rules of procedure in the package that I've brought forward in the past. I just think since this isn't urgent in regards to our operations, that it can be included in that larger discussion.
Okay. Going to vote to table.
Mr. Mayor, I would just add one thing. What I'll do is, if that's what we're going to do, is I will combine these into one resolution So all of the matters will be there to be considered. Certainly, if council chooses to table this tonight, I do think you, Mr. Mayor, are able to preside to permit these stanchions to remain until that issue is resolved as part of your duties as mayor to maintain order.
Yes, they will remain. The barriers will remain until after we have our session. And hopefully they will remain even after that.
And if I may, just for those that are watching and the question of what's coming up in the rules of procedure. So there have been a lot of discussions about rules of procedure, amending the rules of procedure. I've advocated for that in the context of some of our processes. These two particular items have to do with interactions when it comes to public comment. So as many of you know, when there's a public comment, we are not allowed to engage or interact with the individual who's making public comment. The two items on the agenda have to do with individuals making public comment approaching the dais, or individuals from, council members from the dais approaching the audience. And so just creating that barrier. It's more just finalizing or putting a period on typical decorum and how we typically conduct our meetings. Again, I don't have particular opposition. There is just questions that Mr. Frosby brought up about public hearings versus public comment, you know, whether this is necessary, et cetera. So I think it's more contextually appropriate in the larger conversation of rules of procedure that we're having at our organizational meeting later.
Yes.
Thanks.
So we move to table this item.
Yes.
Yes.
Ready for the vote?
Ready for the vote.
Okay. Initiating the vote now. The motion passes.
Okay, this concludes our meeting, city council meeting for this night. Our next meeting will be May 27th. We're not going to close. No. Next meeting will be May 27th at 4 o'clock, second floor training room.